there is nothing to fear. So this is a pretty intense concept, as we have discussed a lot about this idea in general, but it is a presence of a few different things. So recognizing that manifestation, and which the dreamer of the dream, and what you actually are. It does, a lot of people find it helpful to recognize any sort of deity or God holding your hand and helping you along this whole journey. It even says that in the Course. But we want to recognize, regardless, well, you don't have to, but regardless of the visual interpretation that is helpful, recognize that it is still in your mind. So this is something about the whole reason of discovering that there is nothing to fear, is because even what has been the fear or the justification of your fear is as much in your mind as recognizing something is, say, there. So in the sense of the visual imagining helping because you're not alone, as in seeming spirit, physical identity is there with you as well, that's helpful. But again, it's still kind of the same path, recognizing your mind's making stuff up to make it feel better. So, and that's okay, but we want to actually discover what is, in the sense of not just having support, but we actually want to recognize that we are one with the totality of all that is, and we are one with the, say, the power of God. Okay? So in that recognition, there is, of course, nothing to fear because of what that has the capability of doing. Right? In that same way, if you come into some sort of fearful circumstance, and you, instead of believing in any of that, and you just have, oh, it's just me and my body, it's just what I can do, it's just me, and I have to protect everybody else, or my other little people I have around in family, or anything like that, then of course you have reason to fear. It's completely justified that you have reason to fear, reason to feel guilt, reason to feel shame, reason to feel self-conscious, reason to be angry, reason to be dishonest or confused or lost or attached. You have reasons to believe in all of this as far as physical representations and what is involved of being a separate entity. So in that recognition, when you are saying there's no reason to fear, if you don't actually believe it or recognize, say, the dreamer of the dream, you're just going to be like, it's a positive statement, that's great, it's helpful, but I'm still afraid. There's nothing to fear, there's nothing to fear, nothing to fear. Okay. Opposed to recognizing that if you are discovering what is everything being a manifestation, and say there's something really scary happening. I had a time I put myself into a somewhat of a cave. It was more like rocks together, but there was entrances on both sides, and I wanted to spend the night there, and there was some really weird noises. And just a few days ago I saw some really big, say, wolf dog things, like size of horses, which is really weird. And this was in Sedona, Arizona, and I put that image together with the screaming of, I think, a beaver being eaten by something right by me. Like, just, I was right by the river, and like recognizing that full justification of being afraid, and protect yourself any way you need to. Of course, I got my stuff and got out of there. But if I, of course, recognized instead that there was no reason to be afraid, and that I, was one with God, that these animals were one with the whole totality of God as well, that the dreamer of the dream was in charge of the situation, I was given an opportunity to do that there. And I, as much as I was unaware of it at the time, to take that opportunity, it is not likely to be such a terrifying experience for you, or anything, especially after I hear this over my head. It was definitely justifiable. You might have a little bit more of a lesser of a distraught type mindset that comes over you, and just recognizing that if I'm not fearing, I'm trusting. So I'm willing to trust in recognizing this fact that there is no reason to fear. I may not completely comprehend it, I may not understand all of its truth, but I'm willing to understand it. And that's aligning you with the ability to eventually come into that comprehension by choosing to, okay, I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to discover this. And that's what we really want to be doing here. That's why it's a simple fact today. So as much as all the reasons why we can come to the conclusion that there is no reason to fear, we simply want to recognize that I want to discover what those, say, conclusions are by allowing myself to trust, choosing trust instead. Okay, I trust that I am not alone. I choose to believe that there's nothing to fear. I trust that there is a more divine aspect about this. I don't completely understand it, but I choose to trust. I choose to recognize that there is no reason to fear. I want to discover this.